Appreciate you, brother.
No doubt.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're not going to use this mic right now. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So, first and foremost, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here, to be home. There was a time when I aspired to be an NBA player. And probably by the time I was 15 or 16, I realized that wasn't going to work. Then I had an opportunity when I was in college to play college basketball at William & Mary. I was really, really fortunate to kind of get that scholarship. It kind of came late in my senior year. I had no idea what I was going to do the following year. And they came in, offered me a scholarship, and Mama made the decision, this is where you're going to school. It was an outstanding opportunity for me, free education, outstanding school. I got a chance to play basketball and kind of further my dream. It didn't take me long to realize while I was there, though, that I was not going to be a professional basketball player. So I kind of, what else am I going to do in life? Love the game of basketball, love mentoring, love young folks. So, what am I going to do? As I was growing up, I remember coaches like John Thompson, John Chaney, George Raveling. I remember those guys. Even though I was young, 7, 8, 9, I was like, Dad, those guys look like us. He'd be like, yeah. So I'm like, I started to get intrigued. And then, the Mo Cheeks and all those guys started to come along. And then I got an opportunity. My first opportunity, I came back after William & Mary to Archbishop Carroll High School. And Carroll Holmes gave me my first opportunity to coach. And I will forever be grateful to him for that opportunity. I coached freshman basketball there, and I helped out assistant basketball. This was in 1997. And then after coaching there for a couple of years, I got my next break. There were 2 local guys here who gave me an opportunity of a lifetime, which basically changed the trajectory of my coaching career. Those 2 individuals were Troy Weaver and Curtis Malone. They gave me the opportunity to coach with DC Assault. Again, took my career to a whole new level. I coached very talented players. I got to travel the country. I got to meet college coaches, and then I started to dream, hey man, this could actually happen. But in order to dream, a lot of times you have to be able to really visualize. And as I mentioned before, there was the John Thompsons, there was John Chaney, there was George Raveling, all those guys, and I could kind of visualize myself. But it didn't quite, hit me until I was around 16 or 17, and I seen this young black guy, super high fade at the time, super high fade. He was cool, he was dapper. I liked how the camera followed him. I liked how his players integrated with him. And then people started to whisper, hey, you know that guy is actually, he's from here. Huh? Yeah, that guy, he's from here. That's Todd Bozeman. Same area that you come from, same street, same obstacles, so on and so forth. So he gave me an opportunity at the age of 16 or 17, I never told him this before, to dream, to aspire, to be a coach. So, I've always had individuals in my lifetime to help me along the way. And I'm here today, in all honesty, to try to give back, to try to inspire somebody the way that man inspired me. I had the opportunity, ironically, as he said, to coach with him, AAU. We were coaches together. I think this was probably 98, 99. And I do remember the first time we were coaching, first game starts and both of us are sitting on the bench and I'm kind of like, should I get up? Are you going to get? And he's like, go ahead, go ahead, boy, it's your team. And I'm coaching, and this is Coach Bowles with me. So we had that experience, and then probably 10 years later, as he mentioned, we go up to Rhode Island together. So forever grateful for his inspiration, for his leadership, and for allowing just a young man like myself to dream. And I'm hoping that somebody in here today takes a little bit of what I'm going to give you over these next 20, 30 minutes and can use it, to either become a better coach or maybe even inspires you to be, to just be a better person. As Coach mentioned, the character part is really, really important for me. So he gave me 25 minutes to talk about building a defensive championship culture. That's not enough time, so let's start right there. All right, but I'm going to get through as much as I possibly can. I have, as he's mentioned, I've been able to, over this is my 19th year of college coaching, and I have been blessed to work with some of the best coaches in this game. My first opportunity was at the University of Pittsburgh with Jamie Dixon, who is still coaching now at TCU, who probably averages 20 wins a year for the last 25 years. And he was a very defensive-minded coach and a very business-oriented coach. My next 3 years I spent at Georgetown with John Thompson Jr., okay, and he had a totally different philosophy. His defensive philosophy was based on his offense. You're probably saying, what in the world does that mean? Well, he ran the Princeton offense. So basically, the Princeton offense dictated his defense. Then I had an opportunity to go to Rutgers, where I worked with Mike Rice and Eddie Jordan, two completely different philosophies. You know, Eddie Jordan had this Princeton hybrid NBA style, so it was really offensive oriented. Mike Rice, we were a little bit more, grinders, defensive guys. Then I had an opportunity to work with Danny Hurley at Rhode Island, another defensive-minded coach, a national champion. And I'm saying all this to say, all of these different experiences kind of helped build my philosophy. So if you're going to talk about building a team, first and foremost, I hope you do understand that defense does win championships. It's going to allow you to stay in the game. You're not going to have every day where you can make 10 or 15 threes, or you can count on your best player scoring 30 or 40 points, or what have you. Offense kind of comes and goes. Defense, though, as we say, it travels with you. Okay, so I think the thing you have to do first, for all of you coaches, and I don't care what level you were on, middle school, high school, college, AAU, girls, boys, or what have you, when you're talking about building a defensive culture, is you have to figure out what is your philosophy. What is your philosophy? And then how do you come up with what is your philosophy? Let's just start with kind of who you are and what are some of your experiences. For example, I'm going to point to a coach over here at Archbishop Carroll named Malcolm Battle. Okay, he played for a guy named Carroll Holmes, all right? And I can probably guess that some of his coaching philosophy comes from his experiences playing for Coach Carroll Holmes. I know I was there on a staff with him, and I know his man-to-man philosophy, was basically about tearing a man's head off, being physical, not giving up angles, okay, aggression. So that's probably part of the philosophy that, he kind of grew up with, and maybe something that he's going to develop his defensive brand on. And there are other places where, as I mentioned, Georgetown, his defense was based on his offense. So his Princeton offense basically takes 20, 25 seconds, 30 seconds before you get a legitimate shot. What does that do to most defenses? It wears them down. If you run down the other end and now you jack a quick shot and we go back down and we run Princeton offense for 20, 25, 30 seconds, basically, all right, you're wearing that team out, all right, and then you're forcing them to kind of either play fast or do things that they don't necessarily want to do to catch up. So that's a whole different philosophy. I coached at Rhode Island with Danny Hurley. His philosophy was we're going to hard hedge everything. We're going to keep everything on the side of the floor. We're going to be awfully physical. I've coached with some people, for instance, last year, Coach Willard, we switched everything 1 through 4 for different reasons. So you kind of got to figure out what's your philosophy. Are you going to be a coach that plays man-to-man and pressures? Are you going to be a pressing coach? There are pros and cons to everything. All right. When I was in the league in A10 with VCU, when I was at Rhode Island and we played VCU, at that time, VCU was all about pace. Whether it was Will Wade, whether it was Shaka, it didn't matter. They were all about pace. So they were pressing you. They were pressing and they were trapping. But they would give up threes, and they were okay with that. And they would give up occasional dunks. They were okay with that. That was that coach's philosophy. I'm not comfortable with that. I can't live that way. Some of you can. I can't live that way. All right. So I'm not a huge pressing guy, but also I'm not that conservative guy either. For example, if we played in the Big Ten last year, when we played against Wisconsin, they were a pack line defense. What is a pack line defense? Well, that's a defense that's going to be awfully conservative. That's a defense that's going to close out to the ball this short, literally this short, and almost tempt you to take the shot and then close out late and contest your shot. Because all they want to do is contain the basketball, not give you any angles, any advantages, okay? Contest the shots, block out. Because obviously, if you're an offensive team, what do you want to do early in the possession? You want to gain an advantage. You want to get the defense chasing. So if you're building your defensive philosophy, first thing you want to do is establish, hey, you know what? I am not going to give up easy shots. at the rim. I'm not going to give up threes, and I'm going to try not to chase too early in the possession. And what do I mean by chasing? For example, simply, a guy comes down early in possession with a drag ball screen. You get clipped on that ball screen because your man didn't call it out. You're clipped, you're out of the play right now. So now it's a 2-on-1 behind you, possibly a 4-on-3 behind you. That means you're chasing. So that's what I mean by that. You're at a disadvantage. The good offensive teams get you chasing early in possessions, and often. The good defensive teams stay solid. So again, what is going to be your philosophy? You're pressing? Are you not pressing? Are you in a zone? Are you Jim Boeheim? Are you pack line like Wisconsin? All right. So whatever your philosophy is, it's on you. I'm going to talk about my philosophy. And I got this from a number of experiences. First, when I was coaching at Carroll, my first year at Carroll, again, it was like hand-to-hand combat. Watching Carroll Holmes run practices. It was hand-to-hand combat. It was awfully competitive. Everything was really physical. And the thing I noticed about him was he made sure his guys took great pride in defense, in their effort and in their ability. Not always necessarily their technique. You know, Jay and I were just talking about it now. Hey, coaches don't teach guys just to step and slide anymore. I see guys out there crossing. You know what, Jay? At this stage of the game, a coach just wants you to stay in front of the goddamn ball. So however it works, be athletic, stay in front of the ball. We're not worried about any of that stuff anymore. Stay in front of the ball. Okay. So again, how you build your philosophy are going to be based on your experiences and based on what you feel comfortable with as a coach. What do I feel comfortable with as a coach? My experiences at Carroll told me, hey, you know what? I think being physical and aggressive is a good thing. And then my experiences with DC Assault for 8 years, when I had like athletes and superior players, we not only pressed, we kind of leaned on guys. So we would press, we were really physical, we were really handsy, and then we started switching a lot because I just noticed that kept us out of rotation. You know, we would switch and then simple handoff, hey, switch. Now I had to teach that guy how to stay in front of the ball. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, it was Nolan Smith switching off of a point guard with a Michael Beasley. And then you had to kind of teach Mike, hey, Mike, you might have to space that guy a little bit. So there's some things you got to think about there. So are you switching? You know, are you hard hedging? What are your coverages? So for me, I'm a little bit more of a hybrid. I like to press. I like 2-2-1 press. I like 1-2-2 press. And it's just about dictating pace. So for me on the defensive end, I'm trying to dictate pace. So for example, we might run a 1-2-2, a soft 1-2-2, just to make you work the way up the floor. All right. Maybe you'll turn it over. Maybe you won't. By the time you get it over, you know, you've used 6-7 seconds, maybe a little bit discombobulated. By the time we get the man, you get into your first play, your first ball screen, your first action. Hey, on the shot clock, there might only be 18 seconds on the clock. So I'm trying to dictate pace. Sometimes I'm trying to actually speed you up, get a trap out of that same 1-2-2 look. Then we fall back into man, and again, my man is usually, contain the basketball, pressure and contain is what I like to call it, pressure and contain, all right? I like guys in the gaps. I'm not denying. I don't like guys denying, because when you deny, I think it just opens up the floor, all right? And I like the picture behind the basketball. I like people to see bodies. All right, I like people to see bodies. I think the two things that I think you need to do when you're building your philosophy that you need to attack first. So whatever it is, you establish it, you commit to it, you do it. I'm a pressing team, I'm a pack line team, what have you. But fundamentally, first and foremost, you have to be able to guard what? That's the first thing you got to be able to guard. You have to be able to guard the ball. So whether it's teaching, you know, an actual stance and so on and so forth, you know, I'm not going to get into all those technicalities, but I'll tell you what, in college basketball, the hardest thing that you have to do on the defensive end is contain the basketball off of a closeout. That is the absolute hardest thing you have to do at the college level, and I'm sure at the pro level, it's even harder. Why? Because you have guys who can shoot the basketball at high clips, shoot it with range. You have guys who are dynamic off the bounce, okay? You have guys who have in-between games. You have guys that can be really physical. So closing out is really important. So the way we start our practices defensively, building, okay, obviously we talk about stance and all those types of technical things. I'm not going to bog down in that. The first thing we really talk about is containing the basketball, closing out on the basketball. All right. One simple drill. All right. I need a couple of volunteers. Malcolm, can I get you for a second? Reggie, can I get you for a second? All right, I just need a couple coaches. Coach, I just get you for a second. We're just going to show you a couple things, all right? One way I think to build a good, solid foundational team, okay, is teaching guys how to close out, how to contain the basketball. I'm just going to show you a drill, you guys. Again, you don't have to stretch or anything. You don't have to go through it, all right? So if I can get one guy up here. There you go, perfect. Hey, Tyler, can I put you in the corner? Hey, Reg, we're going to make you do all the work since you're a young fella, and I'm going to help you out some, Malcolm. You've got that guy, all right? So I liked how Dave was talking about, there's a way of teaching something in a block form and a way of teaching it in an integrated form. If I wanted to teach this in a block form, I'd just slide those two guys off. We would just focus right here on these two and this closeout, all right? But because I've got some time constraints and I've got a very knowledgeable coaches out here, we're going to kind of integrate this a little bit. So you don't need a basketball, okay? You're in this slot area right here, all right? So now let's divvy up this floor a little bit too, all right? Let's talk about this floor because we're going to talk about today closeouts and we're going to talk about how to guard ball screens multiple different ways. I think if you can guard the basketball, you can guard dribble handoffs and ball screen actions, and then you rebound, I think you're going to have a pretty solid base. And you can do a whole bunch of different things if you want. But right now, closing out is a really important thing. So we'll start practice, all right, with a simple closeout drill, all right? Let me just slide you two off just for a second. Just slide right there. We're going to get them in a second, all right? Closeout. Now let's just divide this floor in half. First and foremost, where's the nail? Everybody know what the nail is? All right? So here's the nail. All right, so we're going to divide this floor in half, all right? We call this the middle of the floor. We call this the slot. Okay, and this obviously is the side, all right? When closing out and the guy is, again, on one side of the floor, all right, technically we want to try to force him sideline baseline. All right, and again, the closeout drill is really, really hard. So this guy's going to catch the basketball and you're just going to maybe step into a shot, but don't actually shoot it, all right? He's going to throw it out. Now he's going to, as he throws it out here, right, he's going to have to sprint. You're not going to have to make your sprint ready. He's going to have to sprint 2 or 3 steps. Then he's going to have to start to chop those feet. Why do you think we chop the feet? Why do we chop the feet?
It gives you time to react to what the other does.
Gives you time to react. You stay on balance and you're able to catch the move, all right? Now, some coaches used to teach, 10 years ago, the whole thing was let's throw 2 hands up. I thought that was clumsy and awkward, and I think it takes you've got to rep that almost every day. So we're going to close out, right? We're going to close out with our left hand here. Why am I closing out with my left hand? Because I want to keep him out of the middle of the floor. Again, philosophically, what is your philosophy? You don't want middle. But some people, UVA 3 or 4 years ago forced guys middle. They force guys middle. That's just a whole completely different philosophy. Okay, my philosophy is sideline, baseline. I don't want anything middle. I want to guard the hell out of that 3-point line because 3s are more than 2s, and I don't want to give up dunks. So just think about that. I'm guarding that line. I'm guarding that 3-point line, and we'll talk about that, chasing guys off. I don't want to give up any dunks, okay? So in general, I'm just giving you a heads up. Ball coverage-wise, we're going to be in drop coverage, so we're going to talk about that because I don't want to give up dunks, and I want my big man in here for rebounding, okay? And I'm pushing the basketball to the sideline. So I'm already starting to build my philosophy, and we haven't even done anything yet, okay? And then obviously, I need my guys to be able to guard the basketball. Can't give up angles, can't get blown by. We can't be chasing early. I can't get my guys in rotation. We're going to give up open 3s. We're going to give up dunks at the rim, or I'm going to get all my guys in foul trouble. All right, so you have to be solid here. So you throw this basketball out. He takes a couple long strides. Then he starts chopping his feet. He's going to chop his feet just so he can stay on balance and he can what we call catch the move. All right. If he goes into his shot, all right, basically what we're going to do is we're going to try to touch the lights. Why am I touching the lights and not going down here?
I want to foul.
Because I'm just trying to contest the shot. Really important, your terminology. You're not closing out to block the shot. How many 3-pointers do you see blocked? Right? So where you're going to contest the shot. So if you get them focusing on touching the lights, straight up, straight down, land, no foul, block out. Also the angle in which he approached them. Again, we already know, right? I'm sending him here. All right. One of the biggest things we talk about at the college level, though, is closing out short. Why do you think we want to close out short?
To prevent the drive.
Prevent the drive. And then you've got to be on your toes and anxious and ready, high hands, ready to close out. Now we step these 2 guys on. All right, so ball back here. All right. So now we're going to integrate it. So now we got two guys. We got a guy in the corner. We've got Malcolm up here. We're in this gap. I'm not denying some guys. Again, this might be your philosophy. I'm denying on the wings. Okay, all right, that might be yours. I don't like giving up all that space. I like my guy a little bit more in the gap, and I like him kind of opened up a little bit. All right, so you're going to throw it out there. First drill, close out. Short, close out short, chop those feet, be ready to catch the move, be ready to jump, all right? Don't pass, don't shoot, or anything like that. As of right now, he's in that gap. Pass it there. All right, so now we're integrating. So now Malcolm has to close out. He's got to chop his feet. He's got to keep that guy from coming middle, right? He's forcing him sideline, baseline. We've got a guy right here, probably on this block, or at the very least under the basket, a big man. You're jumping to the basketball. Now we're integrating, right? Now we're integrating. So that's another closeout. Let's try another closeout. Throw it here. You got to take the right angle now, because again, that's right. Because if this angle is here, where am I sending him? I'm sending him middle. All right, so we're talking about angles. Nice little short close, and I'm short, so I don't get blown by. He's in that gap. All right, so that's just a quick little way to kind of get warmed up. You can add some things to it, such as take a bounce in the gap. He takes a bounce, one bounce in the gap. I catch the move. You might stunt and then recover. All right. Do we ever help out of the same side corner? No. Why not?
It's the shortest three on the side corner.
Why is that?
Ball side corner.
It's ball side corner. If he comes, who's going to? There's nobody there to help. So we always stay home. If he does get, so you stay home, you stunt and then you recover. Let's say he hesitates and then beats me. All right. Then I've got help coming from here. You can't help because as soon as you help, you can't recover. All right, so there's a couple things you can kind of work on there. All right, so let's just walk through it really quickly. Just a quick little warm-up drill that we'd like to start with. We'll do this 2 guys on each side. We'll have lines right here, right? And this kind of also gets you going in the day. You get your energy going, and it's muscle memory. You have to do this every single day. If you can't close out and contain the basketball, no matter what your defensive philosophy is, it will not work. It will not work. You must be able to contain the basketball first and foremost. So we're working on closing out, high hands. Which way am I sending them? I'm closing out short. I've got Malcolm in this gap. Okay, he just took a dribble. Because he was in a great stance on his toes, he was able to catch the move, stay in front of the ball, gave up no advantage. All right, Malcolm is just being in support, knowing that he has to stay home. So he stunned it, passed there. Now he's got to close out at the correct angle, top side, forcing him sideline, baseline. He's in that gap. Simple drill there. Pretty good? Any questions on that? All right, don't need you guys. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. All right. If you can contain the basketball, and then you can handle ball screens and dribble handoffs, all right, and then you can block out and rebound, you're going to be solid. Any other action, you're going to be solid. So just philosophically again, talking about philosophically, 3s are worth more than 2s, right? So it makes sense to guard that line. We, for the last 3 years at Maryland, were a top 10 defensive team. 2 years ago, we were probably one of the worst shooting teams. We actually were the worst 3-point shooting team in the country. In the country. You know, we were number 6 in defense, which allowed us to stay in a lot of games. Why? We guarded the hell out of the line. We rebounded well, and we didn't give up a lot of dunks. We also, again, analytics, not huge on analytics, but it just makes sense. Think about it. We also forced a lot of contested 2s, a lot of 17 and 15 footers. So if you're talking about, again, philosophy, even at your own high school or AAU, all right, hey, you know what? If we get somebody who can stay in front of the ball and not give them an advantage, if we close out to every single 3-point shooter and then run them off of every chasing them inside that 3-point line, where they have to take, whether they're wide open or tough contested mid-range 2s, all right, which nobody really works on, and you can't make enough of them to win a game unless you are DeMar DeRozan, all right, and there's not many of them out there. So we're taking contested 2s. Now, again, you're starting to build your philosophy. And I haven't even talked about the pressing aspect. You can press or not press. I haven't talked about pack line. I haven't talked about your ball screen coverage. Just simply guarding the basketball. And what is my philosophy? Everybody has to have a philosophy. Ball screens, all right? Ball screens. There are a number of different ball screens. We're going to talk about ball screens, and that'll probably be all my time because there are a number of ball screens we need to talk about. Let's cut this floor, all right? Let's cut this floor into pieces right now, okay? So we're going to say if this X is the slot, all right, everything over here is the sideline. If my philosophy is I want to keep the ball where? Out of what? Out of the middle. If there is a side ball screen, can anybody tell me what coverage they would suggest I use? I would ice. Why would I ice?
Keeps everything on the side.
It keeps everything on the side. All right, so let's show a good ice real quick. I just need a ball handler, if I can. Yep, and then a defender. I need one screener, and I'm actually going to be the big man. If I can get one guy to come out here and set a screen. There we go. So we're going to take this a little bit more off to the side, because in that area you're in, you're kind of in a slot. All right, so let's say it's a real hard side ball screen. All right, so you're guarding him right now straight up. He's coming over to set this side ball screen, okay? I'm calling it out. All right, so let's talk about icing. We always talk about the reason we want to ice. We want to keep the ball on the side of the floor, right? We want to load up over there. Now, we've got 3 extra bodies over there. I'm sorry you can't see them, but try to visualize them. The first thing I'm going to do as a big man, once I see him going up there to ice, is I'm going to yell, ice, or whatever your terminology is. All right, most people just say ice. Once my defender hears that, he's got to do a couple of things, all right? Can you tell me one thing you have to do?
After one locate the screener, and then I gotta change my feet.
Okay, change your feet. What do you mean by change your feet?
So I basically don't want him to use the screen.
That's right.
I'm gonna be basically on top of the screener and force him back into the sideline.
There we go. So what he's going to do is he's going to adjust his feet. He's going to push up into this defender, and he's going to basically build a wall. So here's the screener. All right, I'm going to build a wall and force you this way. But what I'm also not going to do is give you all this space. That's really important. I've got to be, again, dictating. I always say, during the course of a game, during every play, somebody is dictating. Somebody, if he's dribbling the basketball, right, and dancing and stuff, and I'm kind of back here, he's dictating. But if he's dribbling the basketball and I'm poking at it and he's kind of hiding the ball, I'm dictating. So you playing that cat and mouse game all day. So we just called ice. He just said it. I'm flipping my hips. I'm pushing into him. Okay. All right. So you go ahead and you flip your hips. He's pushing it to him. All right. He's not letting him get middle, and he's staying connected. Because, again, once you get deconnected, because all these guys are so, what am I doing in drop coverage here? All right. Now, I want to be even with him, but maybe even a step in here. Why do I want to be this deep, even, but maybe even a step tighter and not this way? Why would I not want to be this way?
Back to the middle.
That's right. Too much space, right? Way too much space there, as well as my recovery. All right. We're talking about my recovery angle. Let's say he's guarding him. He takes one dribble down into this to engage, which is what most teams will do. Let's say he slides to that elbow right there. He doesn't pop. He slides to the elbow. He gives him a little pocket pass. If I'm over here too wide, I will never recover. Throw it back. If I'm too high, because I'm trying to be aggressive, and he throws it. Look at the angle now. Go ahead. One dribble. I can't recover. Go back. So I'm going to be I'm going to be tight. Okay. I'm going to be dropped low enough to see him and have a great angle at him. If he comes up here, take one more dribble inside that 3, because he's pushed him inside that 3, and he takes that shot right here. Even if he makes it, who wins? Defense. Even if he makes it, we win. See, I think sometimes you don't think about that during the course of a game. It's like, man, God dang, he just made a tough 2 weeks. Please on the defense. You really should be thinking, you know what? Make him take that shot again. Make him do it again. Again, 3s are worth more than 2s. Those are really tough shots. Not good shots, actually, and you're not dunking the basketball. So this is the ice scenario, all right? So we kept him on the side. Let's get to the slot over here. Matter of fact, one more time, let's get back to the ice. So that was if he used the ice. Okay, here we go. I called ice, flip your hips, all right? I'm in my drop coverage. I'm at a pretty good angle. Let's say he changed the angle, all right, which is what he's supposed to do now. So this is the offensive counter. They're going to set a step up, basically. Let's say he snakes it. So he puts him on that screen. Hold that screen for me. Just hold it. And he snakes it. At some point, even though he's chasing him, what is going to happen? At some point, I might have to, especially once he starts coming downhill, switch. We really don't want this switch. I'm the 6'10". This is a guard. That's a big man rolling. We really don't want this switch, but it happens. It will eventually, it can happen. As he rolls, my guard, he's got one job. Take his legs out. You got to cut those legs. You got to cut those legs and hold on for dear life until the other big man, because we have another big man, is going to come and bump him out. So let's just look at that. Let's look at that scenario. There you go. Let's look at that scenario real quick. All right. So we've got an ice situation. Ice. Flip your hips. All right. I'm in a great distance where I don't let him roll behind me. I'm still containing the basketball. He snaked it, and at a certain point, I'm going to say, switch. He's going to take his legs out, and I'm going to give him some space, and hopefully he takes that shot, which is a contested bad 14-footer over a 6'10 guy. All right? So that's ice. Let's get yourself in a slot right here. All right? Let's get yourself in a slot. All right? We call this, we call it red, but it's drop coverage. Now, again, you can have drop coverage, you can switch, or you can hedge. If you're teaching hedging, I'm just going to tell you right now, you are going to have to rep that every single day, not just the hedging part and the recovery part and the guard coming back up, not just that part, but all of the other rotations, particularly who's the tag guy. That's hard, especially I think for some of you younger guys. All right, so we'll just go drop coverage. I'm not going to do a hedge. We'll just go drop coverage. So I'm just going to call this. Once I call the screen out, all right, I'm just going to simply say left. He knows where the screen is coming. All right, as soon as he hears that, again, different terminology, we're going to say push up. I think in the NBA they say skinny up. All right, I think they say skinny up. So as soon as he hears left, he's going to push up and force him to use that screen. Why are we forcing him to use the screen? Why would we force him to use the screen? Because that's where the help is, right? That's where the help is. If you get him rejecting the screen, then this guy comes and helps. You got to kick. He doesn't help. You got to dunk. All right. So you're forcing him to the help. So I'm going to skinny up. I'm going to push up. Same way. All right. And now the word that I haven't talked about enough, which is what basketball is, angles. Basketball is a game of angles. Every single part of basketball is a game. Post play, using ball screens, off ball screen, everything is about angles. All right. So simply put here, as you push up here, all right, as an offensive player, all right, I'm trying to put him on this screen. I'm trying to close this door. I'm trying to take his angle away. Right? I'm trying to take his angle away. As a defender, right? You are trying to get that foot up and blow that up. All right? So we'll teach this two different ways. For those guards that you have are really aggressive, really pesky, really physical, have great feet, and are able to push up and maybe even blow those screens up, we'll allow them to do that. Be aggressive, blow it up. For others that maybe aren't, as aggressive as a physical, all right, or as fast, I just want you to be technically sound. Go ahead and push up on him. Let's say he beats you to that spot. He beats you with the angle, no problem. You're going to still be physical here, push up, and you're either going to, as soon as you get a chance, keep going, Reggie, as soon as you get a chance, you're going to get back to the inside, get physical, get back in front. While all that's happening, again, I'm in drop coverage. Why am I in drop coverage? Again, it's your philosophy, or mine in this case, but you figure it out. You can have your big man hedging and being really aggressive, all right? But now he's 35 feet from the basket, so when the shot goes up, you don't have anybody down here to rebound. Or when his man rolls and they throw it to him and he's biting the rim and your guy's out there, being aggressive, that's fine. But for me, all right, I'd rather my big man, again, in here, patrolling the paint, touching guys, in good rebounding position, and then able to just give a nice little contest right here. As he's rolling, again, part of the whole philosophy here is I'm dropping, but I'm not letting him get behind me. So if I'm up here and he's behind me, he's just going to throw it to him. All right, so that's why we call it drop coverage. Just come off that one more time, take a couple slow dribbles. All right, so we'll walk through this. So now we're in a slot. I'm going to call left. He's going to push up. He's going to try to blow that up. If the worst case scenario, I'm in drop coverage. As he's rolling, I'm in front of the basketball. I'm containing it, but I'm not letting him get behind me. As he gets back in front, I recover. There's your middle ball screen. All right. Let's try a step up from this angle. So we've got ice, okay? We've got drop coverage right here. Let's try a step up. You see a lot of these in college. You're going to come from this angle right now. Back it up a little bit. Let's say the ball was over there. They just did a dribble handoff exchange. They reversed it to Reggie. Now their big man is coming up to set a step-up ball screen. All right? These are almost impossible to switch because he's coming full speed, and I'm going to either get blown by or I'm going to get a foul. All right? But at the same time, it's basically the same technique as the previous. Drop coverage. All right, here it comes. I'm going to call right. I'm going to call right. You still got to push up and try to make him use it. All right, and then we're going to do what we did before. If he comes off and he's rolling, he's going to fight, get back in front of him. Go back. If he snakes it, we talked about what we're going to do if he snakes it. And you have to go through these scenarios. That's why, I thought that Dave talking about integrating things is really, really important. That's the easy part. Coming off, you guard that, no problem. But what if he comes off and he puts him on that screen and I'm guarding him live and he snakes it? Shit, now I got to make a decision. Okay, switch. Switch. So you go through these drills a few times. Most importantly, you play. You play. We probably played last year at Maryland. If we had 2-hour practices a day, we probably played for, hour and 15 minutes a day. We played every single day. So we would drill for 5 or 10 minutes, and then we played. And then we watched film to discuss, to show, how this works. So, talking about it is one thing, drilling it is one thing, but playing is another. So we just talked about simply ball screens, slot, step-ups, icing. We talked about closing out, containing the basketball, all right? And then kind of building your own philosophy, whether you want to press, whether you want to be a man-to-man half-court team, whether you want to just kind of protect the basket, whether you want to be aggressive. I think it has a lot to do with your personality. It has a lot to do with your personnel, because even if your personality is really fiery and athletic and aggressive, but you got a team that's slow and not athletic and not really talented, then you've got to make some adjustments as well. All right, but just building that philosophy, building that culture, I think is important, and I think it starts with, like I said, I can talk about all sorts of actions. So I would like to open it up right now for anybody to ask me any questions about any technical questions or any actions that you'd like me to, kind of go through and describe how to defend. Jay.
Guarding a ghost.
Guarding a ghost. All right, here we go. So guarding a ghost. I need you back out here, brother. You've been so good to me. I appreciate you. All right, so guarding a ghost screen. Again, why do you set ghost screens? Why are ghost screens set? Offensive. Why would you want to set a ghost screen? Create confusion and create an angle, an advantage, right? So that's what ghost screens are. All right, so here we go. So now Reg, you got the ball. You're on offense too. Me and you're on defense. You can guard. You can set from that angle. That's perfect. All right, that's perfect. All right, so a ghost screen. I hope you know what ghost screens are. Just trying to create some confusion or an angle. So he's going to come and kind of chop it up. We're not sure if we're switching or not. All right, we cause some confusion. You go ahead and slip it. Me and you are like, what are we going to do? 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 Throw it to him. All right, we have messed that up. So how do you defend them? You know how we defend them? Every single time we switch that thing. Automatically. Automatically. The only time we don't is when it's super obvious. Ghost it right through here. Just come right through here and say, ghost, ghost. Not even close. But anything where I have to take a peek, worry about it for a second, automatic. We're automatically switching. And he's obviously has to call it, and then he's got to push me into this gap. All right. So what happens when you switch it? You eliminate any advantage. He's coming. He switches. No advantage now. And guess what? I'm not running and chasing him. What am I doing? I'm staying right there in my gap. No harm, no foul. So that's what we did the majority of the time on Ghost. Great question. Any other actions? Talk to me.
Yeah, if you have a 2-man on one side and the pick, or the pop can actually shoot, how do you play that?
If you have 2 men on one side.
If it's a 2-man game on one side.
Okay.
And the pick man can actually shoot, how do you play that?
Now is this so it must not be a 5. So we switch 1 through 4. So you must be talking about like a 5. Let's say they got a 5-man that can right. So Michigan last year, both their bigs were 7 feet tall. Danny Wolf was 7 feet. And he was the 4. The other kid, Big Victor, the Russian, he was 7'2", but he shot like 35% from 3, right? So, if it's a deadly shooter, You just switch it, just to be safe. I would just switch it. All right. But for us, with a 5-man, you get into rotations then. So I would say if this was a 5-man picking and popping on the naked side, you're guarding the basketball. I'm the 5-man. All right. Go ahead and set it. You come off, Reggie. I'm in drop coverage, and you're saying right now he pops. Yeah, he pops. You're going to have 3 other guys on the floor. There's going to be somebody over there. Rotate. This guy goes and goes. That's the only way you can go, other than switching it. Then you got to work on your weak side rotations. But that's a good drill for you to do, to work on those, to integrate, to work on those second side types of actions. That's good talk. Yep.
I know a lot of people running now, the Spain action.
Yes.
Yeah, how you doing that?
Okay, so this is how we guarded the Spain action last year. So ball up top, you're guarding the basketball. I need just two more guys. We need 6 guys for Spain. I need 2 more guys just to walk out here. Here you go. Appreciate you, Tyler. There you go. Appreciate you, Jay. Here you go. You can come on down here. So pretty simple. Spain action. Here we go. Jay's right here. So Jay's my offensive big man. Tyler is he's my 5-man right here. It's basically a middle ball screen for a guard. This is Spain action. And then another guard is coming off replacing. He can either just replace or he's going to try to get a little bit of a screen. So let's say you came off this way. Tyler shows. He's going to come up here as an offensive guy and try to get a piece of Tyler, right? He's rolling, all right? I'm all messed up because that's open, like there's all sorts of stuff going on. Or let's say I go here, you get confused, go ahead and pop. Tyler, you go get the ball. Now he's wide open. So that's a tough action. You see a lot of people use that in EuroLeague basketball and in NBA. So we'll go back to it. This is how we guarded it. Any middle ball screen for us, we said weak. We said weak. What does that mean? You send him to his weak hand. Right, send him to his weak hand. So in this case, Reggie was a shooter, so both his hands are weak. So it didn't even matter which way we sent him. So no, we're sending Reggie left. We're sending Reggie weak. This is how we handle this. We're in drop coverage, though. Remember, Tyler? Our philosophy, remember? Drop coverage. So I don't know why Tyler's creeping up there. He must not have been here the last 20 minutes. We're in drop coverage. Tyler, there you go. So Tyler's standing his ass back in drop coverage. That's perfect. Go ahead and screen him, Jay. All right, now as this guy comes up, this is how we guarded it. Come off. I got him. Roll, Jay. You got him. Turn around and find him.
Switch.
That's how we did it. That's how we did it. If he came off here, and let's say I was a little bit late, as long as he ran him off one more time, he's going to come off that screen and he's going to make sure he hands him off to me inside that 3-point line. He's going to probably stop at the 3-point line, but he's going to hand him off to me. He's not going to just, come off and then leave him and then that guy shoots a wide open 3. All right, here we go. Weak. And we know it's Spain action. He's going to keep coming with a statement until, don't leave him yet. There you go. I got to get there. Boom. I'm here to take away that 3. And you just turn around and find him because he's replacing. You don't have to go and look for him. You know he's replacing and he's coming right down to you. That's how we regard Spain. Talk to me. Give me another action. Anything else? Defensive philosophy. Okay. Commit to it. Make it personal. Make it about who you are. Make it about what you want to see. Make it about how you feel. Make it about your experiences. Okay? Because that's how you'll be committed to it, and those kids will feel your energy. All right? So whatever it is. Secondly, make it make sense. I mean, make it make sense. All right. Don't tell them like, we're pressing team, we're a super pressing team. I want you super pressing and trapping, but I don't want to give up any threes and I don't want to give up any. Well, coach, we don't have 5 guys. So if I'm trapping down there, they're probably going to, so make it make sense. Right. Make it make sense. Also figure out what it is you are willing to give up. You have to give up something. The best defensive team, you're going to give up something. So what are you willing to give up? I know what I'm not willing to give up. I'm not willing to see guys just shoot 3s all game. I'm not willing to give that up. So I'm chasing guys off of ball screens. I'm chasing them off of staggers. I'm chasing them off of flares. I'm chasing them off the line. I'm staying home in the corner. I'm stunting and staying on shooters. I'm doing everything to make their lives miserable, to not give them any clean looks. That's my philosophy. And then I'm going to have a big man sitting in that rim that anytime anybody drives, you're expecting your guys to get beat. Because anytime anybody drives, you're meeting them at the rim, whether it's going to block it or I'm going to do a Hibbert or what have you. But I gotta have some presence down there. And then obviously, and again, we didn't spend any time really talking about this, and I don't suggest you spend a whole lot of time talking about it either. It's rebounding. The best way to address rebounding is when you play. You can do the drills all day. Okay, the shot goes up. You got to hit this guy here. You got to box out of here. Got it, coach? Yeah, got it. As soon as the game goes, shot goes up, you guys ain't doing that shit, right? But as you play, each and every time you play, every breakdown, every shell, every half-court segment, every up and down segment, all right? If that's what you're emphasizing, you've got to emphasize guys crashing, right? Because you want multiple opportunities, and you've got to emphasize guys finding the body. However you need to do it. I mean, I'll give you one of my strategies probably about 5 years ago when I was a head coach, and I was so frustrated, and I think we were about to play West Virginia. Yeah, we were about to play West Virginia, and I knew that they were, I'm sorry, that's not true. We were playing Illinois 3 years ago when I was at Maryland, and they were clobbering guys on the glass. I remember that. They were clobbering guys on the glass. And for the whole week, and it was my scout, and I'm just nervous about just how physical they are. I know we can guard their actions. I'm just, man, these guys are so physical, and I think our guys are just a little bit soft. And I'm trying to motivate them throughout the week, and I got coach putting in extra drills and practice, and it's getting there, but it's not enough. And it's the night before the game, and coach like go down there and watch some film with them. And give them what you got. And I go down there and basically my angle was, okay, this is how we're going to do this. If you do not rebound, we're going to get smoked. We've talked about rebounding all week. Those who don't rebound, in my opinion, you just soft. Huh? I was trying anything. Yeah, I really was. Yeah, that's what it is. You either hit somebody or you don't. It's no, I forgot. It's no, oh, my bad, coach, after that. No. When the shot goes up, I'm showing them film, these guys, too, running up people's backs, clobbering and moving them out the way. And I'm saying, when the shot goes up, they're going to go. And if you don't hit somebody, you can't turn to me and say, coach, my bad, or I forgot, or that and that. No, I mean, you're just soft, and we're not. So that was my angle. And for whatever, we came out and we punched them. It was just one of those things where, them guys, whatever, on that team. So you got to find your own way to reach them. You know what I mean? I'm not saying call them out their name or anything like that, but you got to find your own way to reach them. But rebounding, just like defense, it's all about effort. It's all about your willingness to get physical, to get dirty, to go get the ball with two hands, not worried about getting contact, and to value the basketball. So defense has to end with rebounding. You have to emphasize that. I would say emphasize it through live action. Any other questions? Good to go? Hey, appreciate you guys' time. Yep, appreciate you guys. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother. Yep. Good to go.
Coach Cox.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate
Yes, sir.
it again.